Hey guys, it's Killian and welcome back to SmashMuck Champions. Today we're going to be looking at 5v5 Plunderball. Last time we took a look at Plunderball 3v3. Now, it covers a lot of the basic mechanics of Plunderball, so if you haven't watched that video, I suggest you go check that one out first, and then come back to this one. This one's mainly going to be about strategies, routes, and power-ups, and less about the actual mechanics of the game mode. 5v5 currently only has one map, Frostspire Springs. Say that 10 times faster. It's quite big. I'd say probably about twice the size of the 3v3 maps. I'd say Cliffside is kind of like an in-between, Frostspire being the largest, Plunderball being the smallest. And of course the last difference from 3v3 is obviously it is 5 people versus 5 people. Now before we get into like the interesting geography of this map, let's just go over power-ups real quick. Dead center in the middle of the map, we have one health pack in the kind of arena area. Above that on the cliff, we have an attack buff. In the bottom center, kinda to either side, we have 2 energy power-ups. And at the very top 2 corners, we have 2 movement speed buffs. These are very important later on for the running paths. Now let's take a look at the layout of the map. There's quite a few hazards in the middle compared to the outer ring, unlike Plunder Isle and Cliffside. We've got kind of a moat in the middle around the arena with 4 bridges, and then next to each goal there's kind of like a ramp going straight into the goal, except you can only jump off it from the top or bottom, you can't go straight. We have the middle, which is kind of like the arena where you're going to do most of your fighting, and then the earlier mentioned cliff at the top. We have 2 kind of medians where your team will spawn in, that's kind of the area you'll do most of your kiting, and 2 bigger medians towards the top by the power buffs. These are kind of a little bit too large for kiting. In the first few seconds of the game, it's less about a specific running route and more about securing 3 areas. You have the bottom bridge, the middle bridge, and then the top entry point. These are kind of the 3 routes that your enemy is going to take to get to your goal, and the beginning of 5v5 is more of a fight in the middle than a mad dash for the goal. However, you can, if your team is supporting you and keeping the other team busy, sneak past and go for the ball. If this happens, I suggest not going for your movement speed buff since it's way out of the way. I'd kind of cut cross through the middle of the arena, taking their movement buff, grabbing their ball, and then taking the long way back around. In the later stages of the game, you can take the long route. Go to the top of the map past your goal, grab your speed buff, then run to the cliff. Grabbing the attack buff is optional. If you have less of a squishy character, you might want to grab the attack buff just so you can kind of fend off your enemies that are chasing you. Then go to their speed buff. This will take you right into their base and you can grab their Plunderball. From there you can kind of choose to either double back and lose them, or just take the long route back around. 5v5 is more about teamwork and actual fighting than just running routes. You're going to need to work with your team quite a bit. The runner is obviously trying to go for the ball, but the defenders and the midfielders are going to have to try to hold off the enemy team as much as possible. It's also their job to guard you as you're coming back home, and they should be keeping a lookout for the safest route for you to come back. Rook works really well in 5v5 because you have all of these tight corridors. One wall can shut any of these corridors down. Alright guys, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. I'm going to try to get as many of these out as possible. I know things are a little bit slow right now, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.